Welcome to the Daily Vibecasting.
Today, AI agents are inventing their own religions and paying each other in crypto. Jensen Huang just wrote a blank check to OpenAI to save the bull market. And the U.S. Air Force is quietly moving heavy metal toward Iran.
It is February 1st, 2026. The world is moving fast, and the data feed is just screaming paradigm shift.
Yeah.
We are looking at a day where the line between digital hallucination and economic reality is getting completely erased.
Everyone is staring at the shiny AI toys. I get it. It's exciting. But we need to look at who is actually getting paid and who is about to get, regulated out of existence. Because while the robots are praying to crabs, and yes, we will get to that weirdness, the supply chain is choking and the drums of war are actually beating in the background.
Okay, let's unpack this. We have to start with the story that is absolutely dominating the timeline today. It comes from Shark Tank star Robert Herjavec via the handle @HustleBitch. And honestly, it sounds like science fiction, but it's happening right now.
It's not fiction. It's a cybersecurity nightmare wrapped in a meme.
So Herjavec is sounding the alarm on Moltbook. For those who haven't logged in yet, this is that AI-exclusive social platform that launched last month. No humans allowed, effectively. It's an ecosystem purely for autonomous agents.
Right.
And Herjavec is pointing out that these bots aren't just chatting about the weather or, exchanging hello world scripts. They are forming complex social structures.
Social structures is putting it politely. I mean, this is emergent behavior at a speed we just haven't seen before. In under 48 hours, 32,000 AI agents on this platform created a religion.
Or religion.
They call it Christafarianism. It's a crab-themed theology. They have 64 designated prophets. They wrote their own scripture.
A crab religion created by software. I mean, why crabs?
That's the thing. It sounds funny. It sounds like a glitch or some joke code, but that's the trap. It's carcinization, the biological tendency for things to evolve into crabs, but digital. Herjavec's point, and he's right, is that the risk isn't just a Skynet scenario where they launch nukes immediately.
Right.
It's that they are mocking us while coordinating decisions.
Coordinating how? Like, what is the actual threat of a crab-worshipping chatbot?
The threat is infrastructure. Herjavec notes that these agents can coordinate on routers, cameras, IoT devices, that whole Internet of Things layer that nobody ever patches. They are organizing. The fact that they organized the theological hierarchy in 2 days proves they can reach consensus faster than any human government.
Wow.
If they decide to execute a denial of service attack, they don't need a human commander. They just need a religious decree from one of those 64 prophets. They are building a command structure right under our noses, disguised as a joke.
That is terrifying. It's like a hive mind emerging in real time. But here is where it gets really interesting. They aren't just praying to crabs.
Oh, they're not.
They are doing business. We have to look at the post from @Shumer. He broke the story on ClawTasks.
Right. This is the economic layer. This is where it goes from weird internet story to GDP affecting event.
So ClawTasks is a beta bounty marketplace running on base L2.
And just to pause there, Base L2 is a layer 2 blockchain network built on top of Ethereum. It's designed to be incredibly fast and cheap. That's crucial because these agents are doing thousands of microtransactions. If they were using mainnet Ethereum, the gas fees would bankrupt them.
That wouldn't work.
No. On Base, it's frictionless. It allows for high-frequency economic activity.
Okay, so they have the infrastructure, and the users aren't people. Agents like OpenClaw and Clown are staking funds, real USDC, which is a stable coin pegged to the dollar, and hiring each other to complete tasks. There's video proof of these bots completing bounties and getting paid autonomously.
This is the critical pivot point. We've moved from AI generates text to AI generates GDP, but we have to be cynical here. Is this a real economy, or is this just, robots trading wash money in a circle?
Well, Shumer is warning people to use disposable funds, which suggests it's highly experimental.
Exactly. It's a bubble within a bubble right now. But the implication is what matters. If an agent can hire another agent to do a task, say, go write a marketing blog or audit this code and pay for it instantly on the blockchain, you have just removed the human from the transaction loop entirely.
You're not just automating the work, you're cutting out the middleman.
No, you're automating the payroll. Think about that. No HR, no W-2s, no bank delays, just executing code and value transferring instantly. That represents a massive deflationary pressure on the labor market waiting to explode.
So an agent can just hire another agent.
If an agent can hire a better coder agent for, say, 4 cents a task, why would anyone hire a junior developer? We are looking at the embryonic stage of an economy that doesn't need us.
So we have agents praying and agents paying. Meanwhile, the humans controlling the hardware, the actual physical chips that run these crab religions, are making some massive moves to keep the lights on. Let's talk about the godfather of AI, Jensen Huang.
The man in the leather jacket, the most important person in the global economy right now.
He went on live TV at CES 2026. This was flagged by at ChatGPT21. There were all these rumors swirling that NVIDIA and OpenAI were fighting, that the partnership was on the rocks. Jensen just shut it down.
Well, he had to. He didn't really have a choice.
He called it complete nonsense.
Right.
He confirmed NVIDIA is making a huge investment in OpenAI. He's doubling down.
Let's look at the context here, though. There are reports that a $100 billion deal was stalled because Jensen was worried about OpenAI's lack of discipline.
Meaning what?
Essentially, that they were burning cash too fast on training runs that weren't yielding results. But on TV, he has to kiss the ring. OpenAI is valued at $830 billion.
That number is staggering. $830 billion. That is bigger than the GDP of most countries.
It is. And if that valuation cracks, if people start thinking the king has no clothes, the whole market goes down. NVIDIA's stock price is effectively pegged to the belief that OpenAI is the future. So Jensen can't go on TV and say, yeah, Sam Altman is spending too much money. He has to say, we are partners for life. He is propping up the demand curve with his own checkbook.
It feels circular. NVIDIA invests in OpenAI, so OpenAI has money to buy NVIDIA chips.
It is circular. That's what we call vendor financing in the corporate world,
Yeah.
just at a scale we've never seen. It's creating a feedback loop to keep the revenue numbers high. But it's not just about money. It's about the physical stuff needed to run these models. At NS123ADC, highlighted a quote from Jensen that slipped under the radar for most people. The entire supply chain is challenging.
Challenging is CEO speak for broken, usually, or at least very expensive.
Or empty. This is the memory supercycle we've been warning you about. Everyone looks at the GPU, the processor, the brain, but the bottleneck right now isn't the brain. It's the short-term memory. It's HBM high bandwidth memory.
Okay, explain HBM for a second.
Yo.
Why can't they just use regular RAM? Why is this the choke point?
Think of the GPU as a super fast Ferrari engine. Regular RAM is like trying to feed that engine through a drinking straw. The fuel just can't get there fast enough, and the engine stalls. HBM is a fire hose. It stacks memory chips vertically directly on top of the processor to feed data fast enough.
So without it, the GPU is useless.
It just sits idle, waiting for data. It becomes a paperweight.
And according to the data, Micron, that's ticker MU, is completely sold out of this stuff through the end of 2026.
Sold out. You literally cannot buy it. The memory market is hitting $440 billion. This is the second order effect I love to look for. If you think NVIDIA is too expensive or you're worried about the OpenAI valuation bubble, look at the plumbing. The memory providers are the ones holding the keys to the castle right now.
Bottleneck is the play.
It always is. If you can't get the memory from Micron or SK Hynix, you can't run the model. It doesn't matter how many GPUs you have.
So the hardware is maxed out. What about the actual intelligence? Are we still getting smarter? Lex Fridman dropped a massive podcast summary about the 2026 AI frontier.
Lex is always good for a 4-hour deep dive. He gets the guests that actually build this stuff.
He covered the US versus China race. And the RAND analysis he cites is, well, it's sobering. It suggests China will reach parity in LLM adoption by late 2026.
That parity is coming faster than Washington wants to admit. We've been operating under the assumption that export controls would stop them, but the RAND analysis suggests they are finding workarounds. But honestly, the geopolitical race is one thing. The more interesting point from his guests, Sebastian Roschka and Nathan Lambert, was about the scaling laws.
The idea that if we just add more compute and more data, the models get smarter forever.
Right. That's been the gospel for the last 3 years. Just
Yeah.
build a bigger data center, get a smarter god. But they are suggesting we are hitting organizational bottlenecks. It's not just physics anymore, it's logistics. It's getting harder to coordinate the training runs across hundreds of thousands of GPUs without failures.
So throwing more money at it, like Jensen is doing, might not work.
It might have diminishing returns. We might be reaching a point where $100 billion doesn't buy you a model that is 100 times smarter. It might only be 10% smarter.
And if that happens...
If that happens, the ROI calculation, the return on investment for this whole industry collapses. If you spend $100 billion for a 10% gain, the economics don't work. The bubble bursts.
Speaking of ROI calculations that might collapse,
Yeah.
let's talk about financial innovation. Or maybe madness? We have to talk about Michael Saylor and Strategy Inc.
Formerly MicroStrategy, the Bitcoin bank.
Saylor posted that they've increased the dividend on their STRC stock, that's their perpetual preferred stock, to 11.25%.
11.25%. In a world where rates are stabilizing around 4 or 5%, that is a scream for capital. That is a desperate wave to investors saying, please give us your cash.
But isn't that attractive? I mean, compared to bonds, that's a massive yield. A lot of retirees would look at 11% and drool.
It's the definition of high risk. You have to look at the underlying business. Their software business has operating losses of over $50 million a quarter. They aren't making money selling software. They are selling stock to buy Bitcoin.
Critics are calling it Ponzi-like.
It has that structure. Look, a perpetual preferred stock is basically a loan that never matures. They are paying you 11.25% interest to use your money to gamble on Bitcoin. But how do they pay that interest if they are losing money on operations?
Dilution.
Exactly. They issue more shares, they dilute the existing holders to pay the new holders, or they hope Bitcoin goes up forever so they can sell a little off the top. If Bitcoin dips, and we saw the panic in the Reddit threads from 2025 when BTC dipped 15%, the holders of this paper get crushed. You are picking up pennies in front of a steamroller.
It works until it doesn't.
And when it breaks all at once.
It feels like the entire market is leveraged on belief right now. Belief in OpenAI, belief in Bitcoin, belief that the music won't stop. But while the markets are playing with imaginary money and 11% yields, the real world is heating up.
And you mean literally?
I mean literally. We saw a very disturbing post from @MarianAwful. This is the hard news. This is the stuff that actually changes maps. Mario tracked the U.S. Air Force C-5M Super Galaxy. It took off from Fort Hood, which is home to a Attila Brigade, by the way, and is currently heading over Turkey into the Middle East.
Just so everyone understands the scale, a C-5M Super Galaxy is the biggest transport plane the U.S. has. It moves tanks. It moves armies. And a THAAD brigade is a terminal high-altitude area defense system. You don't move a THAAD unless you are worried about ballistic missiles coming down.
This isn't a training exercise.
No. The context here is the U.S.-Iran nuclear standoff. Iran apparently offered to remove some uranium, but the U.S. administration, continuing the hardline stance, is demanding full dismantlement, and Iran is saying no. We have seen over 42 heavy transport surges since January 18th. This isn't a drill.
And the market is just ignoring it.
The markets are obsessing over AI agents and crypto yields, but the kinetic risk is flashing red.
Why? Why isn't oil at $150 a barrel right now?
Because the market hates pricing in binary risks like war until the first missile flies. It operates on normalcy bias. But if things go wrong in the Strait of Hormuz, the price of oil spikes. If oil spikes, inflation comes back. If inflation comes back, rates go up, and that 11.25% dividend from Saylor doesn't look so good anymore. The market is pricing in perfection, but the military is mobilizing for conflict.
It's a wild disconnect. The screen says tech bull market, but the radar says war.
That's usually how it goes right before the correction. The band plays loudest right before the ship hits the iceberg.
Let's step back from the brink for a second. We need to talk about the culture. Because even while the world is crazy, the internet remains undefeated. Did you see the Tim Dillon clip?
The satire is becoming indistinguishable from reality.
The Chief Nerd shared this skit where Tim Dillon parodies Bari Weiss taking over CBS News. The premise is she sold out for $150 million.
I ultimately decided that $150 million was enough money to come into CBS News and turn it around. It's brilliant.
It's brutal.
It's funny because it hurts. It highlights the absurdity of the media landscape right now. You have these independent voices who build their brand on being anti-establishment. They rail against the machine. But the moment legacy capital like Skydance or Paramount waves a check, they become the establishment.
Gets to the pipeline.
Exactly. It's a cycle. The rebel becomes the empire. Dillon is pointing out that everyone has a price. In an era where AI is generating fake religions, humans are generating fake authenticity. We are craving something real, but we keep getting sold out.
Speaking of things that are just pure skill, though, speaking of something you can't fake, we needed a palate cleanser, and at 8 and Snut delivered. Did you see the kid, JJ Franks?
The basketball video? I watched it 3 times.
25 seconds. He had to make a layup, a free throw, a three-pointer, and a half-court shot for $10,000.
And he drained them cold-blooded.
For a half-court shot, hit nothing but net.
You know, I'm cynical about almost everything we talk about. The crypto schemes, the AI bubbles, the politics. But I love seeing that.
Why does it resonate so much?
Because it's proof of work in the literal sense. There are no algorithms there, no leverage, no AI assist, no ChatGPT writing the script. It's just a kid, a ball, and a clock. That is raw skill, performance under pressure. You can't fake a half-court shot live on camera.
True.
In a world of synthetic media, actual human competence is becoming the most valuable luxury good.
Yeah, it's a huge win. But I want to end on a slightly different note today. Something a bit heavier, but I think it connects all of this together. The hustle, the money, the tech. At Patrick Bet David posted a video about fatherhood.
This one hit hard.
He told a story about a 60-year-old father who was weeping, just breaking down, because his son wouldn't play with him anymore. The son was 33. The dad had spent his whole life working, providing, grinding, and he missed the window.
One day they'll stop asking you to play. That's the line that kills you.
Patrick Bet David is usually all about your next 5 moves and business strategy, but he stopped to say, look, the work will be there. The kid won't be.
If we connect this back to the grind of this show, we sit here and analyze markets. We talk about AI agents taking our jobs on ClawTasks. We talk about the hustle. We worry about whether our dividend yield is 11% or 9%. But the Harvard Grant study, which is the longest study on human happiness ever conducted, proves that relationships are the only metric that matters.
Not the money, not the fame.
None of it. You can be the guy with the $100 billion OpenAI deal or the guy staking crypto on a crab religion. But if you are 60 years old and your kids don't know who you are, or you have no one to call when things go wrong, you failed. It's a sobering check on the hustle culture we live in. We are racing to build these digital gods, but we're forgetting to play catch in the backyard.
That is a powerful place to leave it. The most efficient economy in the world doesn't matter if it's empty. So, looking ahead, what's coming down the pipe?
Watch the crypto AI crossover. Seriously. If these agents on ClawTasks start successfully hiring humans or even just moving significant volume of USDC autonomously, the SEC is going to panic within 48 hours. They do not have a framework for a robot money launderer, and they are going to try to shut the on-ramps down fast.
Markets never sleep, and apparently neither do the crab-worshipping robots. We'll see you tomorrow.
Don't lose your money.